But we are going to start with the FA Cup, and today the Football Association have announced some major changes to the competition. The headline is that replays will be scrapped from the first round from next season.
FA Cup replays have been scrapped, and this has a lot of people very upset. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the merits of this decision by the FA. Should they have kept replays around, or was it right to let them go? Welcome to Campfire Football. Let's talk about the FA Cup. Something so historical being changed bothers people. Here's Charlton Athletic co-owner Charlie Methven talking about how the FA Cup is being undermined.
This is the latest in a long line of humiliations heaped upon the FA Cup by the Premier League with the connivance of the FA. This has been going on a long time. But when you add the entire thing up, what you're doing is you are systematically diminishing and ultimately destroying the oldest and best cup competition in the world.
Look, the FA Cup is hugely important. It is the oldest knockout cup competition in world football. It has a lot of cultural significance, and it's adored by most English football fans, me included. As a Chelsea fan, I have a lot of amazing memories of this competition. I've also got some harsh ones, most notably Bradford City coming to Stamford Bridge in 2015 and beating Mourinho's Chelsea 4-2. A really embarrassing loss for the Blues, but a match for Bradford City that encapsulated one of the things people love so much about the FA Cup.
The competition that we have now is unique. The little teams get an opportunity, don't they, to play with the big boys. You know, I don't want to kill that essence of the competition, which is that dream to be a giant killer.
But you can still be a giant killer. You just can't do it on a replay.
Yeah, but your best opportunity, your best chance to be a giant killer is to do it in a replay, isn't it?
Okay, Martin, stop. Everybody knows that is untrue. The best chance of actually having a giant killing is in 90 minutes and then maybe penalties. Forget extra time and forget a replay.
Talk about nonsense. We're gullible, but we're not that gullible.
When you think about notable historical FA Cup replays, two clubs in the same division having a replay does not attract any attention whatsoever. What do are the David and Goliath matchups. The problem with these is the stats don't really look good for the small teams. Over the last 10 years, there have been 14 instances where a non-league side has played a replay away to a Premier League club. And they have lost every single one of them, sometimes getting a royal ass kicking, like Swansea City beating Notts County 8-1, or Tottenham beating Rochdale 6-1. This is not good spectacle, it's not good TV viewership, it's not good for the neutrals who want to watch. Now the question is it good for the two clubs involved? Well, first of all, you have to imagine that for fans, it's pretty cool to be able to see their team play in one of the Premier League stadiums if they're a non-league club. But considering the record that they have, there has to be a better reason for this, because it's not yielding upsets, it's not yielding giant killings. Most recently in 2016-2017, we had Lincoln City being the first non-league club to reach the quarterfinals.
I think you have to look at Lincoln City as a club. We had the only replay we had, I think if I remember rightly, was against Ipswich, but without that we wouldn't have got to the stages that we did and go to Arsenal away. I think if I remember rightly, that game on its own gave our club about £1 million to add to the prize fund.
Going back a little further, Burton Albion in 2005-2006, they had a home draw against Man United. Game ended 0-0, and they got to go to Old Trafford. What's funnier, Burton manager at the time, Nigel Clough's memories of the situation. He said, the chairman, Ben Robinson, was in tears at the final whistle. That's how much getting a replay meant. The funny thing is, we had a big penalty shout near the end of the first game. Gerard Piqué looked to have handled the ball. The chairman was the only man in the stadium not shouting for the penalty. He wanted the replay. They got the replay. Burton went and played Manchester United Old Trafford and lost 5-0. Nigel Clough explained, the money we earned from the replay gave us a foundation to build on. The bottom line is it paid off the stadium. Being able to settle all our bills thanks to the replay gave the club the platform to achieve what it did over the next few years. Burton were promoted to the EFL in 2009 and 7 years later made it all the way to the championship. So these replays have had a massive impact on some of these clubs. And there's an obvious common thread to all of them.
Kieran is an Exeter City fan. Our replay at Old Trafford saved us from going into administration. By what token? By the money that it generated.
And that's the key.
Every single one of these conversations, I had people saying to me, it gave me an opportunity to go to Old Trafford, and I would never have been there as an Exeter fan, right? I haven't heard that yet. What I've heard is it saved my football club economically. This FA Cup replay paid for my academy. This FA Cup replay paid for my training ground. So it's about money. I thought it was about replays. It's about the money that replays generates.
That's what it all comes down to. I know that fan memories are great for replays, but really, it's all because of this windfall of cash. The problem is, this only goes to a few select lucky clubs. And I say lucky because it is the literal luck of the draw that they get these matchups. Some clubs just don't, and so they don't stand to make as much money. Now look, you have to get far enough in the competition as a non-league club to have the opportunity to be drawn against a Premier League team. That's all fair and good, that's merit-based. But the fact that only certain clubs will get the opportunity to make that much money off gate receipts is kind of an issue. So really what the FA needs to do is find a way for more money to go to everybody.
Show me the money.
Now, to generate more money, the FA are going to try to have certain exclusive FA Cup weekends. All well and good. It's going to be very important they get the right matches in the right time slots. For instance, no one wants to see Brighton versus Wolves in the 5th round. That's not interesting to anybody. You would rather see a Marine versus Tottenham, which is just an event to see. If they do that and they make a lot more money and they spread it out to the whole pyramid, this is a benefit for everybody. Here's Simon Jordan explaining that exactly.
I'd rather have a fairer distribution model. And I know that if every single one of the 72 EFL club chairmen were offered millions of pounds more as a result of a better commercial deal being done as a result of the regulator, they would forget this argument.
So what are the solutions for the FA here? Getting rid of replays maybe wasn't the best idea, but what could they maybe do to help clubs make more money? Here's a really fascinating question that was asked to Liam Scully, the CEO of Lincoln City.
Next season's FA Cup, Lincoln are in the FA Cup third round draw, and you draw Manchester United, for example, at home. Would you want there to be an opportunity perhaps for conversation with United, with the football authorities, to perhaps reverse that fixture so that Lincoln do get that, in inverted commas, payday by going to Old Trafford instead of playing that game at home?
That's a very interesting point and a really interesting discussion to be had. Personally, I wouldn't be in favour of that.
I mean, I find that to be fascinating. You can just negotiate, all right, we'll play you here and we'll all make more money. Sure, but can you do that for every club? I don't know. Now, maybe you have to standardize it and do something similar to what Spain did with the Copa del Rey in 2019. What they do is they have the lowest ranked teams play at home against the highest ranked teams. So that's why this year we had Arandina and Barbastro play at home against Real Madrid and Barcelona. Really cool experience for them. They got to bring the big clubs to their house, but they lost, and that was it. They also have no opportunity because of the way it's structured to go away to the big team and make money off of that fixture. So I don't really think that's the best change. Honestly, get rid of the EFL Cup.
The problem is the EFL Cup is underpinned by the Premier League's participation in it. The reasons why it used to be called the Worthless Cup when it was the Worthington Cup is because that's what people thought of it. And the only real value in it was when the Premier League clubs come in, and then the revenues the hook got into it, and the EFL Cup can't be sacrificed either.
FA Cup replays did not need to be scrapped. I don't think this was a broken thing that needed to be fixed, and fans seem to like it. So why change this in particular? It's up to them to figure out how to make their competition more valuable to broadcasters and advertisers, and that way they can spread more money through the pyramid. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Sebastian North. This is Campfire Football. Take it easy.